Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a very old school makeup tutorial. Get ready with me. These used to be my favorite videos to watch when I first started watching YouTube. I loved watching people get ready, loved watching makeup tutorials with no rhyme or reason or point to them. So I want to bring that back today. I want to give this video that same energy. I have nowhere to be, nowhere to go. I just want to sit down and do this fun little relaxing tutorial for you guys. I have no real idea of how I want this makeup look to turn out. I have a bit of an idea for what I kind of want the eyeshadow to look like, but we're really just going to be making this up as we go along. So if that is something that you guys are interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. So both my skin and my eyes have been primed. I used my MAC Painterly Paint Pot on my eyes, and then I used my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base on my face, just because my skin has been a little bit dry, which is very strange for my skin in general, but also for this time of year, like in the summer. That never usually happens. My skin's been really going through it the past few days. I don't know what the heck is going on, but it's been going through it. So the eye palette that we're going to use today is the Carnival XL Pro palette by Be Perfect Cosmetics and Stacey Marie. I love this palette, so that's what we're going to use today. I think I want to do a yellow to brown kind of smoky eye. I've been seeing it all over Instagram and YouTube, so I think that's what I want to do today. No cut creases, not the fancy, just a classic smoky eye. The first brush that I'm going to take is this Morphe M506. Love this brush. Fantastic brush. Need a whole bunch more of them. And I'm going to take this Intuition shade right here, which is just a deep, dark chocolatey brown. It's a little bit more on the cool side, which I think is what I want to go in with today. And I'm going to take it on my brush and I'm going to focus it right out here in the outer corner. I love this palette so much because all the shades blend so seamlessly with each other. I had never heard about this palette, or this brand even, until I saw it all over Instagram. Especially this palette, because so many people did these intricate, gorgeous, colorful looks with it. Because if you look at the palette, there's 7 billion different shades in here that you can make an unlimited, truly an unlimited amount of makeup looks with it, eye looks. So when I saw it, I was like, okay, I definitely want to pick it up because there's also neutral shades. It's a great palette to travel with. The only downside is that it's a massive palette, but it has everything that you could ever need. If you're a makeup artist, I feel like it's a palette that you definitely want to check out and probably invest in. You can use it on so many different people. So like I said, I'm just focusing this color out here and really bringing it out so that I can lift my eye. I have a whole video that I'll have linked where I talk about how I use this specific technique to lift my eye with eyeshadow, but I use that technique every single time when it comes to eyeshadows. And I'm being pretty messy because I am going to clean this up when I'm done. It doesn't really matter how far out I bring it. I'm not really going to be affecting anything because I'm going to clean it up. And I'm really trying to pack this on because I want this to be the darkest color in the eye look. That's what's going to help us give that lifted effect and make it a little bit more dimensional. I'm bringing it almost in the eyebrow because I really want to make my eye appear bigger than it actually is. This is my favorite thing to keep on hand because my brushes are always dirty nowadays, and I usually sit down and clean them up before I film, but I've been so lazy recently. But that brush cleaner is super quick and it dries super fast, so it's great for on the spot cleans. The next brush that I'm going to take is the Sigma E25. Love this brush. Such a good brush. I've had it for forever and it still looks exactly the same. I think I'm going to take Basic. It's a little bit warmer, or maybe I'll take, I don't know if I should take Basic or if I should take Fade, because I want to pick one that's going to be able to melt into this yellow shadow pretty well. So I think I'm going to take Basic. I think the warm in Basic is going to help it blend really beautifully into the yellow. So I'm going to take it on my Sigma E25. So I'm starting in the Intuition shade and then I'm blending inward and I'm bringing it all the way up to my brow. See how that's giving us a nice gradient? You always want to make sure to start it off in the shade that's before it so that it blends really beautifully. And again, I'm bringing this all the way up because I have a bit of a hood to my eye. See how there's that crease? I'm bringing it above the crease and almost into the eyebrow. This is what I'm talking about with this palette. I've never had a palette where the shades work so gorgeously together. Look how seamless that blend is. Telling you, if you can get your hands on this palette, go freaking pick it up because it's so good. I'm going to go back in with that Intuition shade on my Morphe 506 just because I want to make sure I didn't lose it. And again, bringing it all the way up into the brow. So gorgeous. Okay, moving on. For the inner yellow shade, I'm going to take this brush. This is a Morphe M421. It's just a really nice flat shader brush. It's the perfect size. I love this brush. I have a video talking about all of my favorite brushes that are like very inexpensive. I'll have it linked up here so that you guys can check it out. But I'm gonna take this Keen shade. This shade right here, it's a gorgeous yellow for the inner corner and for like the inner third. And I'm not gonna cut my crease. If you want to, you can, to make this shade stand out a little bit more, but I'm not really going for anything too dramatic. I just want a nice yellow brown smoky eye. So I'm not gonna take any concealer or cut the crease or anything, but I'm gonna take it on my brush, pack it on, and I'm going to just pat it in. I feel like yellow is the hardest shade to produce in eyeshadow palettes because it's like, I feel like it's hard to get a nice vibrant yellow. I'm glad that we took that shade in the middle right here because it definitely helps connect the outer and the inner corner. Gonna go in with my Sigma E25 and that basic shade. And I'm just gonna blend out again so that everything is connected and there's a nice gradient. Okay, I'm happy with the way that that looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye off camera and I'll be back in a second. So I went ahead and I did a few other things after I finished my other eye. I added some liner and I tight lined with the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Lash Enhancing Liquid Liner and the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Whatever Black. I used these two to line and then tight line. And then I used the Essence Lash Princess mascara. After I curled my lashes, I applied some of this. And then I went in and I cleaned up the edges of my eyeshadow, which always makes the biggest difference. I used a little bit of micellar water and just a cotton bud and went real slow and cleaned up the edges so that I didn't pull like my skin or anything. But it always makes the biggest difference after I do it. So like I said, my skin is already primed. I like to use the Vitamin Enriched Face Base by Bobbi Brown and kind of put it on my skin before I even start my eyes, so it has quite a bit of time to like sink into the skin and like nourish my skin and do all the good stuff that it's supposed to do. The foundation that I'm going to use today is this CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear 3-in-1 foundation. This is one of my favorite foundations from the drugstore. It is in the shade 855 Soft Honey, and it is a, what is this? It's like a foundation, a primer, concealer, and foundation all in one. I'm going to just apply it on my skin because it does have a pump, and I'm going to take my e.l.f. sponge and just apply this all over. I don't think that this oxidizes at all. Like, I'm pretty sure it stays the same color as it is right now. Drugstore foundations, it's like a little bit harder because I feel like they all oxidize. This is just a good one because it really covers everything, but it's not super thick. It doesn't feel like you have a pound of foundation on your face. And a little does go a long way. Like that little stripe covered up all this right here. I also have been loving the Glamouflage foundation, but I wanted to switch it up for this tutorial because I've been like loving that Glamouflage foundation, using it way too much. My hair is pulled back in this disgusting messy bun because it's so dirty, but I'm so lazy when it comes to washing it. I hate washing it. Just dragging this down the neck so that everything is the same color and texture. I don't like to wash my hair like right before I do my videos though, because I do push the foundation like really into my hair, and I would hate to like do that on freshly washed like first day hair. So it kind of all works out. I feel like this is a matte foundation, or at least like a natural natural finish. I know that CoverGirl has a specific like matte line of this like CoverGirl Outlast foundation. I'm pretty sure it has like the black top. I've tried that one before, but I got the wrong shade, so I never really used it. But I have very oily skin, and this one is matte enough for me, and it gives a nice, like, my skin just looks very untextured and like gives a nice soft blur to the skin. Okay, the concealer, I'm sure you guys are probably tired of seeing, but this is the NYX Bare With Me concealer in the shade Vanilla. This is so freaking good. I'm gonna take a little bit because a little goes a long way, so I'm going to take a little bit. This is probably too much, and I'm going to pat it on underneath and cover up all those bags and dark circles. This is another product that I have been like definitely using way too much, but I don't care because it's so flippin' good. The good thing about this concealer is that it's like also a serum, so it's like does a lot of good stuff for your eyes while it's on your face, so I feel like a little less guilty when I use it. And I'm gonna put it down the center of my face as well, just because I feel imbalanced if I don't do that. I've been trying this concealer with like all the foundations that I own, and there's truly has not been one that it hasn't worked well with. Like, it blends into every single foundation that I have beautifully. And you can't beat that. The only thing that I wish it had was like an applicator instead of a pump. That would be like the only thing that I'd want to change about it, but I can make do without it. I am going to go in with a few more cream products before I set everything. I'm going to take the old tried and true Huda Beauty Tantour. I have been using my Fenty matchsticks for a while, and I kind of forgot how much I loved this Tantour right here because it's so easy to work with. This is in the shade Fair, and I'm going to take this Luxie 512 small contouring brush. I like to pack it on and then take the lid and just tap the excess off so that I don't have like too much on my brush when I go in. And I'm gonna go a little bit above the hollows of my cheeks and just do a little bit of cream contouring, always blending up. And I'm really just packing this in. Like, I'm not so much blending as I am packing. I sometimes wonder if I'm like using the wrong brush for this, but I never really know what the perfect brush for cream contouring is. And I'm bringing it up the temple too, just so that it looks a little bit more natural and less like a stripe. See how that gave me just like a little bit of contouring? It's almost like it's just cream bronzing and less cream contouring. And on my forehead, I'll go in a bit more heavy-handed because I got a big old forehead. And there you have it. See, it just offers a bit more dimension to the face before we go in with powders. I like to use creams even though I have oily skin because they help everything to look a bit more natural and less like just stripes on my face. Now this is a product I haven't tried yet. This is the LA Girl Soft Matte Cream Blush, and it is in the shade Rosebud. I've been hesitant to try this because when I like swatched it, it had like a very odd scent to it, and I was like, why does this have to have a scent to it? So I'm going to take like a little bit on my ring finger, and I'm going to go back here and use my finger to blend it in. This is very pigmented, so be very careful. I'm pretty sure it's a cream to powder finish. It's very inexpensive, which is great. Look at that pigment, holy cow. Okay, I love the way that that looks. And I use like the smallest amount. I'm curious to see how it's gonna last too, because blush is always the first thing to go on your face. No matter what skin type you have, it's always like the first thing to go. So now I am gonna go in and set everything. I'm gonna use my favorite setting powder, which is the One Size Translucent Setting Powder. Love this powder so much. Don't think I'll ever love another powder more than this one. I'm gonna take it on a little powder puff and focus this where I put my concealer. So just right under my eyes. Okay, I'm loving the way this makeup looks so far. And then I'm also gonna take it on the center of the face, where I put the concealer. I'm feeling very airbrushed, and I don't know what I did to deserve this feeling, but I'm happy that I feel this way. That blush is unbelievable, especially for the price point. Unbelievable. I wonder what other shades they have. Okay, so I think I am gonna set the rest of the face too. I'm just gonna take whatever is left over in the cap on this big Morphe brush. This is a Morphe M527, like patting it on, not swiping it, patting it in. Okay, so moving on to powders. I'm gonna take this Hoola bronzer that I haven't used in forever because I always forget that I have it, but this is such a good bronzer. Such a cult classic, such a fan favorite because it's like the perfect undertone. It's like not too cool, not too warm, and it's really just so freaking pretty. It's been around forever. I'm gonna take this Morphe M530, this brush that I cannot stand but cannot stop using, and I'm just gonna really tap off the excess and focus this where I put the cream contour. I like to start like back in my hair so that most of the pigment is deposited there and I can just bring the rest down. This blush is insane. I can't get over how pigmented that was. Gonna hit the forehead as well. I actually have a powder blush that I was gonna use, but I don't think I'm going to because the liquid like cream blush that I used is so pigmented. I think to put anything on top of it would just like ruin it. So I'm gonna keep it the way that it is. I am, however, going to, I don't know if you'd call it baking or what, but I'm gonna take my powder puff and just clean up the underneaths of where I put that bronzer because I feel like I took it a little too low, which I literally do all the time. So I'm gonna take my powder puff and just go like that. Nothing crazy. I just want to clean her up. And I don't usually love doing this because I feel like it just makes me look, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't work for me, but recently I have been loving the way that it looks, so I'm just gonna let that sit and marinate for a few seconds and then I'm gonna wipe it off. Alright, so next up is lower lash line. I'm gonna take this small, stiff, flat brush. This is from the Morphe Ariel collection. It is the A19, and I'm gonna take that Intuition shade, which was the darkest one that we used. And I'm not gonna bring it all the way in, but I'm gonna pack it on the outer lower lash line and connect it to the top right here, you see? So that it's all like one line. And like I said, I'm not going all the way in. I'm leaving this bare so that my eyes look a little bit more elongated. This is a great brush for this step. It's like the perfect size and the perfect density. The only thing I don't like is that it's dual-ended. I just feel like when it comes to storing it, there's no right way to store it. Like, I just feel like one of the sides is always going to be like a little more gross than the other. I'm then going to take this Morphe M431, which is just a pencil brush, and I'm going to take that basic shade, which is the one that we used in the middle, and I'm going to blow it out on the lower lash line. And I like to bring mine down pretty far because I have a lot of like fine lines and bags. You do not have to bring it down this far. I am going to apply a bit of mascara. This is the same Lash Princess by Essence on my lower lashes. Okay, I used way too much. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna wait for that to dry so I can like clean it up because I definitely messed that up. But I am gonna go hop off camera again and do my brows and my lashes, and then I'll be right back and we can finish up this tutorial together. So I will see you in just a second. All right, you guys, we are almost finished with this tutorial. The lashes that I used today are the Molten Firecracker lashes. I've been loving these. I've been using them all the time. They have a nice little cat eye effect to them, which really helps to lift my eyes. And then I also used a little bit of this One Size gel liner pencil in the shade Point Made just in my waterline because I wanted to do a little bit more of a smoky look today. So to finish off, we're gonna do lips. I'm gonna use this Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Wherever Walnut first, and I'm gonna just line my lips with this. I love these Artist Color Pencils. You can use them like all over your face, and they're so creamy and so nice. I overline my lips. You do not have to. If you want to know how I get my super full lip look, I have a video that I'll have linked up here for you guys. It's like a quick little one that shows you my favorite techniques. The lipstick I'm going to use is by MAC. This is in the shade Honey Love. It's a very nice, gorgeous nude shade. It is a matte lipstick, but these MAC lipsticks, something about them is so nourishing even though it's like a matte lipstick. So I love them so much. MAC is like my favorite lipsticks. And then for a little bit of lip contouring, I'm going to take this Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Endless Cacao, and I'm going to focus on my Cupid's bow and down in the center of my bottom lip. Now I was going to add a little bit of gloss to this lip, but I actually am loving the way that it looks right now, so I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. And then if you have seen any of my other videos, you know that my final step is always to bring back my birthmark right here, so I'm going to use the same One Size liner pencil. And there you have it, you guys. This is the final look. This was so much fun to do. I feel taken back to 2015 and 2016 when these old school makeup tutorial videos were going on. I love the way this eye look came out. It is exactly what I was going for. If you have not already, make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the little bell so that you're always notified when I put out a new video. And I think that is it for today's video, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.